All right, y'all, welcome back. It's your boy Jahan John Snow, and I'm back with some more boxing. I want to welcome all the viewers to the channel. Please subscribe. Y'all not subscribed yet? Tap that subscribe button for me. Smash that like button for me. Turn the notification bell on for the next video. All right, y'all, now check it out. Now, look like we got Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz next. Just want to give y'all my thoughts. I've been thinking about this fight, this matchup, thinking about everything in general. Lamont Roach not getting the Tank Davis rematch next, and also Tank Davis trainer, Calvin Ford, comes out and call Lamont Roach a nobody. Call the man a nobody. But I want to start with this first. Him fighting Pitbull Cruz next. Good matchup. Great matchup. I'm pretty sure a lot of people gonna accept this fight now since people know Lamont Roach. He's kind of known from fighting Tank Davis and getting that draw. A lot of people thought that he beat Tank Davis, Lamont Roach choose to fight Pitbull Cruz next. Floyd Mayweather was trying to get him to fight Carmel Moten next, right? Floyd Mayweather said it to Lamont Roach that he was going to pay for the fight, put the money up, put it on his card. He was going to run it under Mayweather promotion, and Lamont Roach turned the fight down. He turned the fight down. Told Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to fight Pitbull Cruz next. So it's looking like Lamont Roach chose legacy over, the money and fame, right? Because he probably would have got a bigger bag, the way I'm looking at it, because Floyd Mayweather probably was going to put Lamont Roach versus Carmel Moten on his card, when he fight Mike Tyson, right? So, that fight Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather probably would be on Netflix. So I was, thinking like, if Floyd Mayweather do that, that's a big opportunity, which he probably was, that's a big opportunity for Lamont Roach. More exposure for Lamont Roach to get even knowner, right, after fighting Tank Davis. But he turned the Carmel Moten fight down, right? Said, I'm fighting Pitbull Cruz. Now, Pitbull Cruz is a two-time champion. Like I said, it looked like he's choosing legacy over, the fame and money, because he probably would have got a bigger bag fighting Carmel Moten, negotiating some, with Floyd, right? Because like I said, I believe Floyd was looking to put that on his undercard. Probably would have got a bigger bag, right? But he's staying loyal. What's going on? He's staying loyal to Al Heyman, right? But if you're an Al Heyman fighter, you also fighting for Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people don't know that. Long story behind it. So if you look at Pitbull Cruz and Carmel Moten, right? The way I see it, don't matter what opponent Roach would have picked, he would have still been in the same type of fight, Carmel Moten and Pitbull Cruz, similar fighters, very aggressive, volume puncher fighters. They stay on your top. But did Lamont Roach make a mistake picking Pitbull Cruz and not Carmel Moten, right? Not Carmel Moten. He probably did. He probably did. Pitbull Cruz fought better fighters, got more experience. And I think he's a little bit aggressive and meaner than Carmel Moten is, you know. But we'll have to see, we'll have to see how Lamont Roach handle a style like Pitbull Cruz. I don't know. I saw Lamont Roach in a couple fights before he fought Tank Davis, but I haven't watched his whole career. I don't know everybody he fought. He probably used to, this type of style. He probably not. Somebody can let me know if y'all know the fighters, the list of fighters that Lamont Roach had fought, So it's gonna be, a war. It's gonna be a war. And I really don't know. I really can't tell who's gonna win this fight right now. I don't even want to give a prediction. I don't even want to tell y'all who gonna win this fight. 50-50 fight. Because like I was telling y'all before Lamont Roach fought Tank Davis and everybody was turning that fight down. I probably was the only guy on YouTube saying that I accept this fight, I like this matchup, and it's gonna be a scrapper because I knew who Lamont Roach was, and I know, what type of fighter he is. I know he can box, he can mix it up, and I know that he can bang. He'll get aggressive and he'll get mean in the ring. So maybe Lamont Roach can beat Pitbull Cruz the same way Jose Valenzuela did, right? Mixing it up, or he'll probably mix it up, but what Jose Valenzuela did, he just boxed him. He just boxed Pitbull Cruz, right? Wasn't too aggressive. He wasn't pressuring the gas on Pitbull Cruz, and they gave Valenzuela the fight. Me personally, I think that Pitbull Cruz won that fight, but it is what it is. A lot of people think that Valenzuela outboxed it, Pitbull Cruz, So curious on how this fight gonna go, how Lamont Roach gonna perform in this fight, how he's gonna take Pitbull Cruz pressure, because when Tank fought Pitbull Cruz, he was standing away from the pressure. He was doing a lot of movement, moving around. He outboxed Pitbull Cruz, right? But he wasn't staying in the paint with Pitbull Cruz, not at all. He wasn't trying to bang with him at all. He was just throwing his jab to the stomach. You know what Tank do? Doing his 1-2 and stuff. Couple hits, moving around. So Calvin Ford called Lamont Roach a nobody. He said this guy was a nobody before Tank Davis fought him, right? Like he wasn't a champion. He was a champion. How you gonna call a champion a nobody? How you gonna call somebody that get inside the ring and box and fight for a living a nobody? He said he was a nobody. And then he said something like, he said something like everybody don't get the rematch right away, right? But I want to address when he said he's a nobody. And that's the problem with Tank Davis and, these people around him. The ego. The ego. They think this dude Floyd Mayweather or something. This dude Tank ain't did nothing in his career. Nothing. And he's not on the type of level that he think he's on. You're not on that type of level, dude. You ain't even on Terrence Crawford level no more. Right? Terrence Crawford surpassed you, dude. Cut it out. You said the right thing when you was in that press conference with Jake Paul. When you said, I'm not the face of boxing no more. I'm just a I'm just a regular guy. Yep. You said the right thing, man. You said the right thing because that's the reason why you don't want to give Lamont Roach the rematch. But I'm here to tell y'all he is. He have to. Because he's still in contract. And that rematch is a big fight. And Al Heyman them know that, right? But the reason why he don't want to give Lamont Roach the rematch, and the reason why he don't want to fight these guys, because it's an ego thing. This guy think like he's on a higher level. How you on a higher level than a Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and some of the other boxers when you ain't achieve what these guys achieve. So cut it out. Cut it out, man. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why he don't want to give Lamont Roach the rematch, because he afraid that he might lose to a nobody. You know, what they think of Lamont Roach. He don't want to lose to a nobody. He'll want to give it all up to a person that he think a nobody. This nobody gave you a draw that the world think beat you. Right? And you know you got to do something about it. Tank Davis and his team, Calvin Ford and them, they know the rematch gotta happen. That's why Calvin Ford was like, he said something like Lamont Roach need to move on. He said move on. He need to move on and then come back to Tank Davis, right? He said and then come back to Tank Davis because he know that's exactly what Tank Davis got to do. You know Tank Davis got to come back and do that rematch with Lamont Roach, and you know PBC Al Heyman them gonna make him do it. That's a big money fight. The rematch gonna be even bigger after the Jake Paul fight. That's the next big money fight for Tank Davis. If he ain't fighting nobody like, Tio or Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to make him do it. You're only doing this Jake Paul fight to gross money, in-house money for PBC. And people y'all got to connect the dots. Why is he fighting Pitbull Cruz? Why did he choose to fight Pitbull Cruz? This is all in-house, right? This is all put together. They knowing exactly what they doing. Exactly what they doing. But I'm going to tell y'all, if Lamont Roach lose to Pitbull Cruz, see, this the setup. If he lose to Pitbull Cruz, he ain't going to get the Tank Davis rematch. And they praying on Lamont Roach to lose to Pitbull Cruz, y'all. They praying on that. That's how it normally happened. Right? Lamont Roach is fighting an opponent that Tank Davis fought. And people thought he was in a tight fight with Pitbull Cruz. You know what I'm saying? People thought he was running from Pitbull Cruz. So Calvin Ford Mad disrespectful. Don't get mad because of nobody. You call this guy a nobody. No. Call him a cherry pick. Call him a cherry pick because that's what he was. He was a cherry pick that went wrong. And Tank Davis mad because his first time he got to deal with adversity, y'all. His first time. And he don't want to go back and deal with it again. He don't want to figure it out. The puzzle out like a real boxer. Like a real boxer. He don't want to get in there and knock out Lamont Roach.